Hey everybody, and welcome back to another book review. This book also just recently released as the musical movie, The Color Purple. It is a book that I actually started back when I was younger, and I never finished it. and The Color Purple by Alice Walker. It is a really good book. Um, I did kind of another double where read some and then also listen to the audiobook, and the audiobook I had was read by Alice Walker, which is really great. I love when authors get a chance to actually read their books. That's always just um, interesting how they hear how different characters sound and things like that. But I like the book. It is, I mean, like, I've seen the movies, musicals, all that stuff. Um, it's definitely different, and I feel, much as I love the stage musical, like, I really love the stage musical, the movie musical doesn't do the stage musical justice, for one. Um, and the new movie does not hold up to the original movie from the 80s. I just think that one's better about getting across kind of what's happening. Um, it's a dark book. Um, it's got a lot going on. Those of you that don't know, it's about a girl that's named Celie, who at the beginning of the book she's late teens, early 20s, and she's been raped multiple times and abused by the person she thinks is her father is actually her stepfather. Um, and um, and because of that, she's had two children. But the last time that she had a baby, everything just kind of went bad, so she can't have any more kids. Um, and then she is forced to go marry this man called Mister. His real name's Albert, and the reason is because he likes her younger sister Nettie, and their father won't allow Nettie to get married because she's going to college. She's trying to stay in school and all that stuff, and everybody thinks Celie's dumb. And so Celie is forced to go marry this man and raises his children, and she does that, and from that point on, she everything's just kind of about her life and what she thinks about. Nettie tries to come live with them, doesn't work out because it's never like really stated in the book why she's been told to leave, but like it's just kind of assumed that Albert tried to come on to her and it just didn't work out. And so she leaves and she winds up becoming a missionary and going to Africa, and they lose contact because Albert doesn't want them to have contact. Um, and so I think they're out of contact for it's like 30 some odd years. It's a really long time. And it's just, it's an interesting book, interesting concept and everything. What gets me is, I give this a 3 out of 5. I want to give it something higher, but I just could, because it's a classic and all that, but I just can't. I just I don't get it, Now that I've actually read the whole book, I think previously I stopped probably about 1/3, maybe, a ways into the book, and I just never went back to it. But I just don't get it. Like, it's a good story. It's a painful story. Unfortunately, it's far too common. I don't think we talk about how common this type of story is, where there's excessive abuse and then like just roughness your entire life. There's still a happy ending. Nettie comes back. Celie gets to meet her children that she had. There's all these things. Finding out that her person that she thought was her dad and raping her is actually her stepdad, and that he was holding out on their inheritance from their family and stuff like that. But um, I just find it interesting overall. This idea, and you see it in film, film stories, everything. Like, you see it frequently, of this idea that people that live kind of more rural, backwoods areas, like, cannot have healthy, solid relationships. And particularly Black people. And I know there's a lot of history behind all that. But just the concept of, like, everything in this book is, you know, like, they're, with the exception of Celie and Mr. Albert, because, like, their relationship was just never a good relationship. They didn't want to be together to begin with. They were forced to be together. And so the adultery is, it makes sense. But the rest of the characters, it doesn't make sense. You know, there's one of Mr. Sun's, Harpo. He marries Sophia in the movie, in the original movie, played by Oprah. That's kind of what got Oprah on the map a little bit. And in the newer movie, played by Daniel Brooks, who is amazing, Loki. But Harpo and Sophia, they just bicker all the time. You know, they're constantly scrapping, and Harpo's trying to spend a lot of time controlling his women. And because he doesn't, you know, she's like, fine, I'm just gonna up and leave. But they never actually, like, officially get divorced. And so then he decides they both decide that they're gonna have kids with other people. And, like, there's just no sanctity to their marriage. They both have, you know, boyfriends and girlfriends. And then at the end of the book, they get back together because technically they never got divorced, you know? And there's a lot of that throughout this story, you know, like, we get married, you know, or we are married, and, like, but I'm also still gonna have, like, 5 other relationships. Like, there's no sanctity to the marriage, and I just hate that a lot of times in film and books and stuff that is frequently recognized as, like, normal. And to me, it's just not, at least not in rural communities. And that's kind of the way I felt. It was like people that were from the city or from other areas were, like, very good at having solid relationships, and nobody else is. So I just, I didn't really like that part. And the other part of it, I mean, like, it makes some sense, but it also makes no sense to me. The reasoning behind Celie being gay, like, she's been abused by men multiple times, and so she's just not attracted to them, which, again, 100% valid. There's plenty of people in the world, I'm sure, that feel that way. But to me, at least, for Celie and some of the other descriptions of Celie, she already knew she was gay. So using abusive men to justify her status just didn't make sense to me. It just didn't. So, like, yeah, it's a good book. I'll give you that. It's a good book. It's a dark book. It is still a powerful story of overcoming and finding what's going on in your obstacles and being better than your obstacles overall. I 100% agree with that. But the rest of it, I was just like, I don't know if I liked the way that things were kind of explained and done in some instances with some of the characters. So yeah, like, again, like I said, I gave it a 3 overall. I know a lot of people were like, you should give it something higher. And I'm just like, no. But I do plan to read more of Alice Walker's stuff at a later point this year. Again, trying to work through the book list. My goal this year is to only read stuff off the book list, and not extra stuff minus anything that, like, pops up with my book club. Yeah, Color Purple. I, don't want to talk about necessarily the movies and stage show too much because they're not the book. But my personal opinion, 80s movie is great. Stage musical, phenomenal. I listen to the soundtrack frequently. It's, to be honest though, the stage musical is just very happy. It's a musical. So it's kind of hard to have a dark musical. But stage musical is just very happy. Movie musical, while good and fine, nothing like the stage musical. They cut out a lot of songs, they cut out a lot of scenes, stuff got chippy, chopped, and doesn't make sense. The acting was fine, the costumes were amazing. The sets, loved it. Like, just visually great. Execution wise, it was not good. Did not like it. But if you're a person that's like, oh, I would rather watch the movie or whatever first, it's totally valid. Watching the original movie is totally valid. It pretty much follows the book pretty closely. But reading the book before doing that might make some things make a little bit more sense, but not much. So yeah, there's my 2 cents. Color Purple. Again, like I said, give it a 3 out of 5. It's a good book, but I just wasn't as passionate about it as some of the other books. So there you have it. That is all for this book review. As always, please continue to suggest and send things my way. There's stuff coming out, books that are coming out to wrap up series, and I'm excited about those. They're already on my book list, but I don't know if I've said it in some of the other videos yet this year, but like really this year I'm sticking to the book list. So anything that's been previously suggested is in the book list in some fashion, but the book list is long, so we're gonna try and get through it this year. But thank you as always for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next book review. Bye.